The next stop is On the Radar Radio.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, baby. On the Radar Radio. Yo, two very special guests in the building today. My guys, my brothers, the Bag Fuel Boys in the building. We swapping podcasts today. That's how to get my guys.
I'm my man, Pots and Pans, yo.
How we doing today, guys?
I'm good. I'm really impressed with your radio voice. You just popped right in.
Yeah, that Power 105 voice.
I'm really impressed with that. But shout out to Gumbo. We just had Gumbo on our show, and it was a very good show talking about their weed brand and how they promote and market. They're very inspiring. So we just came from over there, and now we're here. I think things are going great. We just got back from Atlanta.
What are you guys doing in Atlanta?
Working, we got a lot of great relationships in Atlanta. During COVID, when people weren't moving too tough and Atlanta was open and money had slowed down, Atlanta was the city that was asking us to come out to host, to come out to do content and interviews, and it literally became a second home for us.
That's fire.
So we were going there like once every 3 weeks. Plane tickets were being bought for us. So anytime we go back to Atlanta to infuse ourselves with the culture, with the music, with the artists, the influencers. So we sat down with Wayno, Greg Street, Shaheem Reed, just to immerse ourselves and diversify the content too. And just like how you're gonna go to Memphis, to give back to the culture that's given so much to On the Radar. That's what we're doing with Bag Fuel in Atlanta.
Oh, that's fire. And I saw you guys start kind of doing like your own little freestyle series too. I fuck with that. That shit hard.
What happened, it was a brainchild of both of ours. Initially, I have a lot of legendary freestyles from back in the day. I have some with Mac Miller, Lloyd Banks, Sheik Luch, which led to the meeting with Jay-Z, all ridiculousness. So when we were doing our Bag Fuel, I said, we need to start shooting freestyles again. And that's was like, why? And it was your platform and all the other platforms hadn't emerged back up again, but I saw the wave coming. Yeah. And SO was like, we need to strategize and come at a different angle with it. By the time it was ready, everything blew up. Yeah. It was like, it didn't make sense. And SO created the 8-bar Clips brainchild. And you can explain what the energy was behind that.
Well, the whole purpose of it was to stay out of all y'all way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But still add to the culture. Like I'm not trying to be, we're not trying to be what you're bringing to the culture or the guys that got the mic coming down and all that.
Shout out From the Block.
From the Block. Great production, man.
They got great production. All of it looks great. But I see so many people copying everybody's style with the microphone and all the rest
Which
of
is
that
what
stuff.
I dropped that clip yesterday, and me and Zay talking about that too, because Zay and I had like
everybody's biting that style.
About copying his shit, copying our shit here.
Everybody's copying, right? Which is hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But when we started it, we just wanted it to be a part of our show as another piece, as a promotional vehicle. For reasons of, we talk about a lot of business. So it's not saying like people are gonna watch it to be excited and see something funny or see something this. We're really talking about music business. Right. So we wanted to add like a entertainment factor to it. And that's where the 8-bar Clips came from. Then I talked to Ghost about it, because we were gonna have a beat behind it and all that, and Ghost was like, nah, no beat. That's how it's gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? So then we X'd the beat out, and then Ghost came and put the vision up. It was supposed to be 8-bar Slick is the original name. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I say. I'd be like, yo, Slick 8 bars or whatever. And then Ghost was like, no, it needs to be 8-bar Clips. And then the brainchild was born after that.
I still don't like the name. But,
why don't you like the name?
That's just me.
Okay.
I just like Slick better. Clips reminds me too much of going towards the battle rap culture. So I don't have an issue with it, but it's working though. And that's part of being a unit. Just because you might not rock with it, you got to trust the people you're working with.
He didn't like Bag Fuel neither.
I didn't like the name Bag Fuel. I was like, this is the dumbest shit I ever heard.
He didn't like Bag Fuel neither when I came with it. Thank you.
Yo, listen.
When I came with it, don't get Gabe.
I looked at him like,
Gabe, no. I was on the phone like, bro, I got the name. Smoking. I'm like, him and Push it together. I'm like, Bag Fuel. Niggas was like, All right. I was like, yo, we gonna fuel young niggas to get to the bag. What y'all talking about that? Y'all don't get it. It's about money. It's bag fuel.
Bag
What you
fuel,
talking
yeah, that
about
makes
it?
sense.
He was like,
I'm jacking
nah. Yeah,
Okay, and so my
Wait,
name
for
is
context,
Heineken.
For context, Ghost just chimed in and said, but your name is Heineken, though.
All right.
y'all gotta understand, Ghost is always here with us with no mic on.
Yeah, he refused to be mic'd up. Even
son,
he
you gotta
has the
get a mic.
ability.
That's why he's a
Someone
ghost. You
And
know
then
what I'm
the
saying?
8 bars was just, like I said, I used to shoot a lot of freestyles. I got freestyles with Mickey Fax and everything. And when so many platforms are asking artists to have these raps ready, and I take the value of their rap serious because this is valuable content and intellectual property that they can never recite somewhere else. So we're asking them to give great song material for free in certain respects. Yeah. So SO and I were like, yo, let's find a way where it's not too much pressure. Because when you go down south, you know, there's always been that stigma that the down south artists aren't too lyrically inclined or too much is expected. With the 8 bar talking, they can get their joint off, and it just works for everybody across the board.
Not everybody gives us a good 8 bars though.
I mean, not everybody gives a good on the radar.
Yeah,
freestyle.
yeah,
It's what it
it's
is.
part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
You know,
It's part of the game. I thought 8 bars would be kind of easy.
Oh, it's
to do,
hard for
though,
them.
Gabe. But 8 bars is not like,
Oh.
and it throws them off because it's no beat, so they can't ride the beat. They can't rely on no beat. They got to use their own cadence. Now we just did a drill rapper, Shawnee Bin Laden.
Oh, my God. Yep. Shout out Shawnee, man.
Yo,
I love
We
Shawnee.
just did
Shawnee
Shawnee
hard.
Yo,
Shawnee's hooked
what?
up with my peoples, like,
Yeah.
and we didn't even
Queens.
know. Yeah, so but I didn't even know. I'm not too much in the drill.
Yeah.
So when I met him, I know who his family is, and the dude that he signed to, Goldie. Shout to Goldie. Goldie's my man.
Yeah.
Right. He did a 8 bar clip for us.
Yo, okay.
It wasn't drill. Nothing. Shit was fire. son. So I'm saying that because a lot of these people think that these drill rappers only could rap drill. That's the misconception that I had. That when he went and spit that shit, I said,
Yo.
I thought he was gonna be like, da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? He had a regular cadence, regular everything, had nothing to do with drill, and the shit was fire.
Right. And that also comes with, like, the time that they've been in the game. Obviously, like, the younger drill rappers, of course, rapping about, you know, just regular drill shit. But then, like, when they get older, you look at artists like Shawnee or you look at Busy Banks, who just had a show the other night at Gramercy. That show was sold out too, I think. But those two, they've been in the game for years now. Like, Shawnee was at the top of the sample movement when it first started. And then Busy been doing the Brooklyn drill shit for so long. That's like, I think it's like, you know, you just got to give certain drill artists time to evolve. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've had 2 young boys from the Bronx here recently, Kenzo Balla, TG Crippy, right? Both of them came in here last year extremely angry. Like their raps were very volatile, very angry, very, you know, drill fuel driven. But then they both came these past 2 weeks or past month or so, and they've been spitting some real like pain type of drill music. And they both told me, they're like, yo, Gabe, that other shit ain't it no more. They're like, this is what
That fast?
This is like, well, I mean, they still have records like that.
No, I'm
but
saying,
they're
do you
like-
think the shift is happening that fast?
I think so, because it's like you start to realize what's working and what doesn't work. And then I think, you know, like, obviously what they're making is very far from what I'm about to say, but even like the way that Ice Spice came out, it's like, oh, okay.
It's a different drill.
It's a different type of drill.
We had an argument about that, and I said it was drill, and the drill dudes down there was like, yes, it's drill. They didn't think it was drill. I said, yeah, she's definitely doing drill. She's just delivering it differently.
Delivering it completely differently.
She's not talking about killing nobody. She got a soft voice. Cause I asked to do what I can't remember Shawnee Bin Laden's man, but I took a chance to really talk to him and say,
Which artist too?
yeah, I got a picture of him.
Big Baby, Yaya. Show me. I'll show you.
Yeah, but
Big
I
Glau,
asked him.
that's his name.
I told him, like, I try to have real talks with people. So
Yeah.
while they was recording, I said, why does everybody get on drill and change their voice? You talk like this, they be like, yo, what's up? They be like, I'll be like, why do they do that?
Yo, that's
I was
crazy.
like, I don't get it. And he said it really doesn't make sense, but it's a part of the culture.
Yeah.
And that's just what they do. And I was just like, that's me. I don't know.
Oh,
what's going
I
on.
was like, I looked at all of our phones and I was like,
that's me.
I'm
that's
like-
not my phone.
That's me. They bugging out. But I'm trying to see the dude. Here you go. Bang.
Oh, Big Glau.
Look, Big who?
Big Glau.
Glau?
Glau. Yeah,
Okay,
Big Glau.
yeah.
Yeah. He used to go by Big Baby, but Big Glau.
Okay, Big Glau. Me and Big Glau was talking.
Yeah.
And I asked him that. You know what I'm saying? And we laughed and we talked about it and everything. Yeah, he gave us a 8-bar clip too.
He's fire.
Yeah, so yeah, they need time to evolve and stuff like that. But like I told them, I said, Shawnee bin Laden has OGs around him now, right?
Mhm.
A lot of the drill rappers, like I told them, I said, they didn't have a lot of OG niggas around them to help bring them along the way.
Yeah.
So even when you had Nas, when you go back in the day, you had Nas, you had MC Search that was helping him with the business, helping to guide him with the creativity, blase blah, just telling him like, this is what you got to do for the record label, just explaining to him. Everybody, you had Snoop with Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had you had Eazy-E with the white dude that was guiding him. Somebody's guiding somebody. It seemed to me, and I could be wrong, that the drill rappers are just out here. I'm going to the studio, I'm getting this beat, I'm laying this beat down, I'm putting this shit out.
I think
That's the impression I get.
I think that's very accurate because, like, a lot of people that wanted to get into the media game when it was just only Hot and Power, MTV, and when the internet exploded to where you could put your voice and personality out, there was no guidance or OGs. Everybody was just like hook and crook. I'm going to talk the way I'm going to talk. I'm going to act the way I'm going to act. And now we've gotten to what we are right now with this media game where popularity is up and people are excited to give their thoughts. And you have now college courses that's teaching the digital media game versus the first wave. Think about how the SoundCloud rappers came in. That screwed the whole industry up, how they were coming in.
Yeah.
They're like,
Why
what?
y'all think that screwed it up?
Not screwed it up screwed up the music, but how they came in and became so powerful and popular and ever present without the traditional route of being popular as an artist. It threw people's heads off.
Because I think you got to realize, like, that generation was really my generation. Like,
Yeah.
Gotti and I are about the same age. Chief Keef and I are the same. Chief Keef came out before, but Chief Keef and I are
He
the
came
same
out so
age.
young, though.
I'm trying to think who else. But when me and Uzi,
Chief Keef is a part of the...
he was like right before.
He was right
that.
before,
he was
but
before SoundCloud, that's what I'm saying.
Uzi and I are the same age.
Okay.
So like when I think of like the SoundCloud thing, the thing is like a lot of the artists who are in the SoundCloud generation that came out during the SoundCloud generation, they are all like children of the internet. Like we all grew up playing the Flash games online, playing on GarageBand.
Yeah.
Like we all grew up in that time.
What's the negative part of that? Because I'm trying to understand.
I think the
What's the
negative-
negative side of SoundCloud?
I think, okay, so here's like I don't think there's a negative side to SoundCloud. I think what Heineken's trying to say is like the way that music and how music creation worked, because it's the same thing when we're like, there's no artist development anymore. Because a lot of the artist development would be considered like the person who, okay, like let's say hypothetically you have artist A from Brooklyn, right? He has no OGs above him, but if he had an artist development person, that would, for quote unquote, be his OG, but just in the music industry.
I understand.
Right now, it's just kind of like with the internet and what he's trying to say with SoundCloud is like anybody could just be anybody they want at any time and just upload music whenever and wherever, right? So there's not so much of that like process of, okay, we're gonna make some music, right? Then we're gonna develop the artist, and then we're gonna
Have the rollout.
have a rollout. No, now like
SoundCloud skipped all of that.
yeah, SoundCloud
Okay,
helps skip all that.
but what's the negative side of that?
The negative
though?
side of that you don't have
Artist development.
all the
Great.
time.
It
Okay,
translates to how drill rappers don't rap
Let
on
me-
beat.
all right,
You see, it morphs into something.
All right, but most rappers not gonna make it anyway.
That's
So
a
if the
fact.
SoundCloud era, the ones that we got, the Juice WRLDs, is the only ones we were supposed to have.
But here's the thing: when you do it unconventionally,
But it has ripple effects. Sorry. that's what I was gonna say.
I agree. Now people think I can do it.
Without team.
Yeah, that's why when I said how you came in the game, now all these execs, I can do it. When they see how Gabe came in the game, I can do it too.
But we're inspiring. They're supposed to think they could do it.
Yeah,
We're-
it's same
we're
thing with the
inspiring them.
SoundCloud era. It inspired people who didn't know, who grew up in Idaho.
I'm just being honest. Being in the business for 25
Yeah.
years prior to this shit, I wasn't a part of the SoundCloud era. I was very aware of it because my god sister was knee deep in the SoundCloud era, and she made sure that I was up on everything with the SoundCloud, so I knew about the rappers and everything. But being in the business, we needed the SoundCloud era as the record executives because niggas was lost.
Yeah, of course.
People couldn't.
Wow.
We couldn't find. Nobody was getting no deals. Nobody was doing nothing. If y'all didn't have the SoundCloud era, y'all niggas wasn't getting no music. That's straight up and down. And we wasn't going to have no artists because there was no money to develop. There was no money to give budgets. They was giving 360 deals. So, you needed the SoundCloud. They needed a platform. They found that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they found that shit, and they exploited that shit, and a couple of people got their names off of it. Everybody's not gonna. Then the ones that were good enough, then you take those and you put them in a label.
I think you're the first
to develop
Yo,
them.
Gabe, correct me if I'm wrong. You might be the first dude of the industry to give SoundCloud that level of legitimacy. Normally, you get some older guys, they try to downplay it. And
They hate us.
I don't know, Gabe, have you?
With the SoundCloud, I feel like, if you
I
look
don't have an issue with it.
No. I feel like if you look at, like, I think about, like, when I was interning, right? Because I was interning when SoundCloud era was, and I was in college. So I was, like, living with the music. I feel like, when you think about, like, the early times, like, when, I think of, like, the Joe Budden episode with Yachty, where he's like, why you always, like this? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like at the time, like, there was a lot of weird animosity towards these SoundCloud artists. But at the same time, that happens with every generation of a new sound. Again, let's kind of bring it back to drill music. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Or when gangster rap first came out. Like, there's always going to be a certain animosity from the people who are, well, not everybody. I don't want to say everybody.
The haters.
But the haters will always be there from the last generation.
This is what I'm saying.
But you know why they're hating? They're seeing a shift happening in real time, and they either are aware that they won't be able to adjust, or they're going to get rolled over.
Right.
I saw something on TV, and they said when you shake the pot, the people at the bottom that's grinding, they not bothered. It's the people at the top. The people at the top are now worried what this SoundCloud is going to do.
Right.
We have to crush this SoundCloud shit. It's giving them too much freedom.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's giving them the
Or
idea.
the drum music, too. Like,
It's giving them the idea. We have this
squad.
It's giving them the idea because what people don't understand about this music business is it's all revolved around money. Y'all want it to be revolved around creativity. It's not. If your creativity is not going to become dollars and cents, nobody cares, bro. You know what I'm saying? So when they're involved, when they have the bank and they got the money, they are a conglomerate. Universal owns Def Jam, Cash Money, OVO. Like, that's what people, they don't understand. These are companies, they look like they're fighting. They're not. They're all owned by one person, and they got many conglomerates up under them. So, of course, they're going to use their shit and say, yo, they getting on SoundCloud. They making money by themselves. Nah. The SoundCloud shit is trash. We don't like that shit.
Unless we could put our hands in it.
We don't like that shit. We ain't got our hands in it. Before streaming was going on, when Napster had it, it was trash. Now they regulated it.
With Spotify.
It's the shit. Think about it.
Yep.
Duh.
What I just say, until you
Napster's trash. Don't do that. You're not supporting the artist. You're not doing this. Yo, the sound quality is bad. It's this. But as soon as we can regulate and get our money off
Put
of
our
it,
hands in the
Gabe,
pocket.
go stream, Gabe.
That's all it is. I just want my hands in your pocket.
I gotta get my money.
Yeah, and I think, even if we, in like a cultural perspective of SoundCloud and what SoundCloud has created, and then kind of, because I said this, I posted a clip actually the day that we recorded this on my Instagram, and it was like, I did a little interview with OGM, and they were like, what are you looking at right now? Like, what are you paying attention to right now? And I told them I'm paying attention to the underground scene in the SoundCloud community right now, because it's kind of like all the kids who are making music now were kids listening to the SoundCloud wave when it first started in like mid 2015, 2014-ish. And now they're making music and they're coming up on SoundCloud as like this new wave of like underground sound and hyper pop and all this other stuff.
So they're back on SoundCloud again.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is dope.
And you're catching it before people realize.
You think it's dope?
I think it's dope.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think it's dope? Because it's just kind of like it's
Is it nostalgic for you?
In a way, it is definitely nostalgic, but it's like the way that you see, if you have to go to one of the shows to fully like grasp it. And what I mean by that is like, I think, so I went to a Little Tekka show, right? Shout out Bree. Hi, Bree.
Shout out to Lil Tekka in Queens. He's from Queens.
Yeah. Bree, you hear me? Okay, cool. So Bree brought me to a Little Tekka show, right? In the springtime. It was at Terminal 5. Sold out. Young Chris, Baby Sans, Tana, his name's Tana now. Tana, BK the Ruler, I don't remember who else opened, but there were a few other people who opened. Now, all these artists are considered part of like the SoundCloud sound, even though some of them are signed, of course. But for the longest time, I was like, I know Little Tekka's popular. I seen Little Tekka when Tekka first came out, but does Tekka really have the fan base like that? Like, I really thought to myself about that. I'm like, maybe I'm just not listening to that type of music anymore, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to listen to everything all at once. But when I went to the show and I actually saw with my eyes, I was like, oh, these little motherfuckers is doing what I was doing 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? They mosh pitting, they going crazy down there. They losing their fucking minds. That's what I was doing at a Travis Scott concert in 2015.
There you go.
You feel me? And that's why when I saw that, it made me happy because I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this is still exists, and it's a new kind of generation of people doing it, and they're still capturing the audience of these kids, and these kids are just, it's literally what we were doing back then, but just a new generation. And that's because all these kids grew up listening to Uzi, Cardi, Yachty, Denzel Curry from that period of time.
That was
Juice
a good
X.
wave.
Like,
Yeah.
everybody was, all the kids who were kids back then, it's like when I was listening to Drake when I was like 13, 14, right? Like early Drake. And then now we grow
Can
up
I say
with
something that some people are going to find ridiculous, but I have to say this? You're like the new SoundCloud even for me. When I go to On the Radar, I get to see these artists' face. It's a one-stop shop. There's at least 3 female artists I discovered because of you. I'm in their DMs right now. I'm waiting for them to respond. And I'm like, yeah, you see me with Gay, but I'm giving you the credit of, just like how we're giving a lot of the business knowledge that people didn't know, we're ushering that in. It's the same thing. You've actually connected to where people can say, I'm going to go to just On the Radar to find these dudes. I don't have to search. Kind of like what WorldStar did for content. That's what WorldStar did. When YouTube was rogue and you was typing, it became a one-stop shop to find things. And right now, these artists know that On the Radar is one of the platforms that's going to make us a one-stop shop to be discovered fast.
You can be discovered, right?
What you
But
thinking?
on the little Tekka thing, we forget Lil Tekka was on the radio.
Yeah.
No, of course. What I meant by that is, like, yes, Tekka, right? But then also the other artists who were there as well. That
But they
weren't
can,
on the radio.
yeah, but they can feed off of Lil Tekka. Lil Tekka was on, maybe they not headlining because they didn't hit the radio.
You're right, but you have to see the people's reaction when they all hit the stage.
Okay.
It would be. I agree with you.
Okay.
I would agree with you if it was dead for every single artist leading
Until
up to
Tekka.
Tekka. But Bree, they was fired up, right? They was
Yo.
they- like literally from the moment from the moment we walked in, when young Chris was on the stage, stripping down to his boxers, doing backflips off the stage, to the moment that Tekka came out, they was wilding the whole time. And that's why I would agree with you if it was just Tekka bringing in the fan base, because that happens with a lot of tours. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You got like artist A, who's the tour is for, and then, you know, they got artists ABC before them who are paying to be on the tour with them, or X, Y, and Z. No, this was like a genuine fan base of kids, of people who love Little Tekka, but fans of BK the Ruler, of Tana, of Chris. Like, they were all raging the entire time. And like I said, it wasn't just like a one small pit of people. It was the whole crowd, every single artist. That's what was dope.
Now, do y'all think record labels like that type of shit? I'm just curious. Like, you telling me about dudes that are regionally known and they selling out without help. Y'all think record labels is fucking with that?
Fucking with them. Well, like,
Well, what did you just say?
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you your answer. 5 minutes ago, what you said, if their hands is not in that pocket, they ain't fucking with it, because they're cutting out all the benefits of what brings to the label. Now, how many artists can really get to that level of extreme popularity and international fame without having these mainstream television shows? Like, when you see a rapper pop up on ESPN, I don't want to hear you're an independent rapper. You got somebody that's pushing you through.
Right.
Like, when I see certain artists performing at basketball games, oh, that just randomly happened. No, Mark Cuban ain't call you. The label made that happen. Let's stop playing the game. But to answer your question, Esso, no, they're not gonna like that, because it undercuts them unless they can have the artist in their pocket. Now it saves them on their budget, and they can get whatever they can from selling. If they can sign the artist, they love it. If the artist is free, no, they ain't gonna love it.
I mean, are y'all seeing like the marketing ploy that's going around from the labels right now? Because nobody's talking to me about it, and I'm
Which
seeing
ploy?
it. everybody's telling all these independent artists.
Oh,
sign
that's
to the
been
label.
around. Yeah, that's been around.
Been around.
But I'm saying they going hard. But when I'm saying, okay, they were saying it. They always gonna say it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now they're going on. They got multiple
But you
people
know why that
in
is?
different regions that have say so on publications. Like say for instance, they'll come and give Gabe money, and Gabe is to be on the radar and be like, yo, everybody. All of a sudden, everybody's saying that you shouldn't sign to a label. Yo, I think it's best for you to sign to the label. Y'all haven't seen that going on right now?
No, I mean, this is, but
I see it.
I've been
I
seeing
swear on the
it.
Bible, this has not happened on the radar. I swear on the Bible. I don't
No,
got a
no,
Bible
no.
on this bitch.
I know
but
what you're about to say.
but just
I understand what you're saying, though.
But remember what I said on all the other platforms, whether it was Chance the Rapper or people of that caliber. There's this thing of the underdog story. Remember what we spoke about on the other episode? People love the underdog story. You didn't have the machine behind you. You miraculously put the sock over the microphone. You rapped. You put it on the internet, and you're this dope dude. And this story galvanizes people.
I.e. Lola Brooke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Now, think about how we used to speak with other people in the business, and they found out in the 90s, these artists weren't organically thrown on the radio. That these guys, Steve LaBelle and Steve Rifkin, all of them were making things happen. And it hurts their heart to know that this was not organic.
Nothing is organic.
Same thing with this independent thing now. This independent drive is the same, it's the equivalent of grassroots. You did it grassroots in the 90s. You had the song go on the radio, and then they discovered you. You're independent. You didn't need no help. And we're like, how'd you get on First Take? Or how'd you get on with Skip and Shannon? Stop playing.
But independent and don't need no help means poor and cheap. That's what that means.
Say that,
It
break
means
that
poor,
down.
It means poor and cheap. Independent people don't want to pay for shit. They don't want to invest in themselves. Real independents work their shit like a small version of a label.
Like
Tech
LaRussell.
Nine-
New York
LaRussell, right?
independents, New York independents are not like West Coast and Midwest
Definitely
and
not.
down
independents.
south.
Midwest independents and down south and West Coast independents, they got money.
Yeah.
They're doing it really independently. New York, New Jersey,
Connecticut.
Philadelphia, Boston, independent mean I don't have no money. Can you do shit? Can you
Yo,
do
Gabe,
everything
show
for
me
me
love, man.
for free because I'm dope?
Yeah,
That's
when
not
I'm
independent.
on, you part of my label. You're gonna get
That's poor and
59%.
broke, bro.
John's gonna get this Lambo right here. How many times y'all heard that talk? I've heard it for
That's
20
poor and
years.
broke.
So many times.
Has
That's an
any of them
excuse.
blessed you back?
No.
No, they're not. But that's the excuse.
Exactly.
Like, look at the marketing, y'all. Lola Brooke been signed, I heard, since June. There was no point to announce her being signed since June because you can use that signing now as a marketing ploy.
Right.
She put this record out. She did South by Southwest. Oh my God, this record is blowing up for no reason. The people she signed to, Savvy Davis Jr., is a record music veteran.
Over
He's
20
broke
years.
records
Yeah.
for other people.
Yeah.
Okay, so being that she signed with him, do y'all think that the record just got on the radio and just
By
started blowing
accident.
up? No, she went with the right people, and then you have a marketing team within the label that says, "Don't say you're signed." Why? Because on the East Coast, if you don't say you're signed,
It's all about making a moment.
they're gonna do everything for free.
Hold on. Say,
It's all about, making a moment, right?
Go for that.
And I'm going to use a recent example of this that I just saw literally this week, right?
Okay.
I'm not going to speak on the situation of Real Boss and Richie, but what I will speak about with Real Boss and Richie is that with everything going on about him on the internet right now, right? You peeped how like the label signing meeting and all that stuff just kind of popped up online this past couple weeks, and like that's a moment. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what's going on with him or whatever, that's a moment that is clearly was a planned moment. Now, was the moment planned to come out during this time? Definitely not. They definitely wanted to wait till after the Future tour and all this to be like, Richie signed. Look at this. Whatever. But like
That's
with all
the
the
whole
stuff going on
plan.
online right now,
They have to do something to distract it.
to
or-
either distract it or just keep up in the
Up in the
conversation.
stakes.
Keep up in the conversation. And I get that. I get it because
it's
like
all marketing.
it's all marketing. It's all about just making a moment. And people think it's so much. People think it's so much deeper than it actually is. No, it's very simple. Like even everything with like Ice Spice, very simple. Even though some of the stuff is like organic too in a way, depending on what it is. But
You go forward
Yeah.
to get the organic.
But I see like marketing plans for not like Ice Spice, but like I would say like 2 years ago, right? There was a very big album that came out. I'm not gonna say which one, But
Why you ain't gonna say which one?
Because he has relationships.
Because I got
Because he has
This is Gabe's
relationships.
famous line. I'm not gonna say the artist. I'm
No,
not
no,
gonna say which
Axel,
one.
don't do that.
No.
You always say preserve the relationship.
preserve the relationship.
I be
Okay,
naming names,
that's a
though.
T-shirt.
I be naming names though.
No, not all of them.
Not all of them. Not all. This is actually what I can't name. But I saw because what I was doing was I was doing something that was like kind of like part of that rollout, right? So they sent me like the rollout, right? And it was like, oh, this person is gonna post a Triller video of their song at this time on this day and whatever. So it's funny now because when I see shit like that, when I see like Ice Spice post like the In Her Mood thing, like right before Christmas time,
Yeah.
I think it dropped on around Christmas time, whatever. And I saw the Triller. And like it's like the video itself is extremely organic, right? It's like her with Cleo Trapper sipping the Capri Sun.
Yep.
Very simple video, very organically made. But then in the back of my head, I can't help but think and be like, the song is hot. I ain't gonna lie. But did you just post this just to post this, or did you post it because it was part of a
Marketing
rollout
and
plan?
everything's about the rollout.
But that's what you gotta think about. You know,
But while you're an artist, your whole career is about a rollout. If you don't understand that and understand its moment, that's why some go away. Drake went away for a little while, had to come back, do certain things. You have to create a rollout every time you're putting out a project or you're doing something new.
Can we talk about how
That's it.
the rollout is exhausting? Because one of the things when we first started doing content, Gabe, Esso would say artists really hate the grind of doing these press runs, having to deal with stupid questions, bouncing, having to go to all these platforms, and then being, almost a slave to these machines because you want them to promote your stuff. And I remember what he said, that's why Jay-Z and Beyonce effed the game up when they just dropped the album. He said that was part of, we don't want to do the rollout. Even though the rollout is one of the most essential thing, along with drama, to push the sales of albums.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, dang, like how?
But they on a level that they could do that.
Yeah.
Same with Drake.
Yeah, but he's right though. I use that example to be like, this is if you pay attention, you'll see what they do and don't want to do. No artist is lining up saying, interview me. I want to sit down on the radio. No, they don't want to do that. No, people don't want to sit down and talk to us. That's why it's valuable that they take time and they come sit down and talk to him. Or they talk to us, because this is not something that they actually really want to do. Right. Nobody wants to put their life on the line on the internet with one bad question or one wrong saying or sentence could ruin your whole role.
Kanye West.
Right. Kanye West. But what I'm gonna say to that, I got two things to say to that. One, you mentioned about how Beyonce and Jay-Z were like, fuck this album rollout, right? And how they kind of not started that trend, but like kind of made it more,
ushered it in.
More popular,
okay.
more mainstream.
I like that.
More mainstream.
More mainstream.
I like that.
But then you look at Drake, right? And like you even look at what Drake and 21 Savage did with their new rollout, with their project, and they basically said, fuck SNL, fuck Colors, fuck Tiny Desk, fuck anything that has to do with a regular rollout. We flipping the script on all of it, right? And we're just gonna release these things ourselves, right? And like, and then they did the Vogue magazine, the fake Vogue magazine, the fake the interview with oh my God, what's his name from SiriusXM? My mind is Howard Stern, right? And granted, they might get sued for a couple of those things, but at the end of the day, they basically said fuck the rollout. Now, I forgot what the other side of the thing I was gonna say is. I was going to say something else that was very important. I got it. The other reason why artists don't want to do rollouts anymore, right? Or don't want to do these interviews, right? Is because of the culture that's been created behind interviews.
Clickbait?
Right? Clickbait,
Yeah.
right?
And I used to be a clickbaiter. In Whiffen scale, I'm not a fronter.
Yeah.
We sat down with Wayno and I apologized to him because I had clickbaited a title with him in academics. And it did a ton of views. It was a great sit down. But as you get older and you realize...
He was mad too about that.
Yeah, and Wayno said, I ain't gonna lie, I was mad. And I said, I knew. So that's why I had to apologize to you as man to man. Yeah. But as we get older and we realize the power of our words and how they can influence people's longevity, their money, their state of mind, and how it can destroy your whole empire, you got to be more cautious with these titles. But it's tricky because the clickbait now has shown the more views equals a dollar amount. So are you willing to sell yourself and be a hoe for these clicks?
Yes, they are. People are willing to be a hoe because we have the studies that show only 5% of podcasters really make money. they're not making no money.
Yeah.
YouTubers and podcasters are not. We are of the few, the small community that's doing this and making a living and really paying bills off of this shit.
Yeah.
Everybody else is doing this shit for clout. They don't know how to market themselves. They don't know about gaining sponsorship and advertising, nothing. They think that they just gonna go on camera and YouTube's gonna fire it up.
You will be like,
and we going right to the bank with it. You know what I'm saying?
yo, John, can you get these people downstairs for me so I can let
So how you feeling about this
call
clickbait
Amanda
culture?
Ready? You got it? Oh.
How you feel about this clickbait culture,
Well,
Gabe?
here's the-
Because you're a young guy.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it.
Even though you get these views and you know what it turns into, what do you dislike about it, man?
Man, look, I like. First of all, that's why you interviewing me now.
Oh, yeah, I know.
This is the problem. We just
Yeah,
like
we
how
can't help
back
it.
and forth. Nah, I'll say it's like, I tell everybody this, right? Like I came up under Angie Martinez, right?
Yeah,
you
you
know what I'm
said that.
saying? One of the most neutral parties in hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that it's like, I think I had this realization it was like Angie and Angela Yee Day, which was a party that was thrown
in Brooklyn.
You were there?
Yeah,
No, it wasn't in Brooklyn. It was in Manhattan. It was in Manhattan.
Oh, I was the one before that.
And Angela Yee.
It was
It'd be in August.
Angie and
It was
Angie.
Angie
Yeah,
and
it's in
Angie Day.
August.
No, it was
No,
in January.
Angie's is in
You think of the
August.
barbecue.
The barbecue.
The barbecue
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Angela Yee Day.
Angie,
No, this was a
Angela-
combined party for both
Yes.
of them. So this went down, I think, when I was like 21 or 22, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the middle of the winter, and I remember I was there with Nyla and a few other people. And what was so special about this one party was because when looking at it, I was like, man, like you look around, right? And it's like Angie, Angela, and a bunch of other people that have been in the industry with them for 20 plus
Easy.
years at that point. So you're looking at this, right? And you're like, okay, cool. Fat Joe's there. I'm just throwing out names. I don't remember exactly everybody who was there. Like Fat Joe's there, Joe Budden's there, this person there, this person there, this person there. And it's like these relationships and these things are able to exist 20, 30 years later because of the groundwork that's been put in for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Angie has a million Fat Joe interviews because Angie has always been that person that wouldn't just do clickbaity titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I learned when I was working for her and doing her titles for some of her YouTube videos. And I didn't understand that at first because I'm a kid. I'm like, yo, but you want to get the views off
Yep.
off 6ix9ine and Pop, like you want to do this and that.
He wasn't
And-
on then.
But I wasn't doing like this.
Yeah,
yet,
he
you know?
wasn't on then. Just
So-
like the other dude. Now you on.
You in the game.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And once you got with Angie, you became on.
Right.
So now once she's schooling you to, this is how on niggas do. We not doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a relationship. That goes to the, remember when we talked off camera, we said once you get one relationship,
Yeah.
you realize shit can't just go that way.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself in position to say fuck the views. I'm going with quality. Let the views come. Because in order for us to keep going, we have to build relationships and keep going. My best friend is Clue. I saw Clickbait. Clue don't do interviews and shit. I had to get. It took me 8 months to get Clue to do his interview. Why? Because I saw and me and Heineken would go back and forth about this for a long time, and I would be like, y'all, and I don't want to say the wrong
No,
thing,
go for
but
it.
I would be like, Hein, you do know these people don't want to do interviews, right? And Heineken would be like, why?
I see. I'm spoiled because I've had people really come. It's like I want to do this sit down, and it's been on numerous shows. Now within scale, SO's always said, when you're really extremely popular and you don't have to do it, they ain't gonna do it. So anybody that's asking to do it is because they need a
need it.
show.
They need you to do it.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm so used to all these names like, yo, let's do this sit down, let's do this sit down, let's do this sit down. I just
And you was with 50. You was with a hot platform.
Yeah.
People wanted to just come through there
just
to
to
come see
meet
50.
Yo, the
That-
dog.
They was
Yeah,
coming through there
oh my God.
just to come meet Fifth. So
And-
that was a big roadblock between us in order for us to grow.
Yeah.
To understand that people don't want to. And our first interviews together was powerful. We had YG at his peak. We had Neo. We had Trina. We had Clue. We came out the box with certain joints.
There's a couple people we forget.
I'm forgetting.
Self.
But
Yeah.
as we started rolling them out, although these was my friends, like me and Trina and all them was close, it wasn't easy to get them to do these type of things.
Right.
And I would always explain to him because I managed Rock Wilder. You know what I'm saying? I managed Maya. I ran with Puff for a little while. I ran with these niggas, and I would be like, nobody, Rock Wilder. Him as a producer didn't want to do any interviews, and I would try to talk him into it because I felt like it would help prolong his legacy. Because he wasn't a producer that would get on his videos dancing and be out in front of the camera. So you need to go on camera on shows to have your shit keep going, your legacy. And he didn't want to do it. And everybody's philosophy was, I'm not doing that shit. They want me to do that shit because they want something for themselves. They not really fucking with me because they like me.
Yeah.
That was their outlook. So I always kept that in mind when I decided to venture on this side of the camera, saying, I know that they don't want to do this. So how are we going to make them comfortable?
Yeah.
Come sit down with us.
The thing with this clickbait too, when you're sitting here and you're reaching out to artists to be on your platform, there's a certain criteria they look for that's not spoken about. Let me see your Instagram. Okay, you got this amount of followers, you got this amount of views, and they also check to see who's following you. I've been fortunate. I got a lot of influential people that follow me, so I can streamline fast. Let me see your YouTube. Let me see what happens when I Google your names. Then you got to pick which interviews to send. So like he'll have artists, like this artist wants to, I'll tailor make certain interviews. It won't even be about the views. But then certain artists that I know is view heavy, I'll send the biggest numbers. Right. So you know what? Come on, Gabe. Yeah. So that's why these people are going for clickbaits too, aside from the clout and the extreme immediacy of attention you get when you're sending out your inquiries. They want to see a whole discography that, hey, this is legitimate and I'm not wasting my time as an artist. Too as well.
I'm keeping it real. I don't even remember sending out an inquiry to somebody that we didn't know. Like
I mean, it's different now. We're in the game differently.
I've never randomly got somebody. Like we reached out to Jamel Hill, who was when she got fired off of off of Sports Center.
Yeah.
Never responded.
No, they responded, but then it just how that shit goes. Yeah. Like it bounces.
They never responded. If they don't come through,
they didn't respond.
Okay, they didn't fucking respond. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we think about that stuff, like we haven't had a guest on our show that I haven't reached out to no guests that I didn't know. It's always been people that I know or we've come in contact with or they reach out to us. Yeah. Like honestly, I'm humble to the point that I still be like, oh shit, people want to sit down and talk to us? I'll be shocked.
Yeah. I'm not. He'd be like, why? I'm like, yo, bro, this is what? I said, are you bugging?
Gabe, bro, I am shocked when y'all spoke and he said Gabe is coming to Battlefield. I said he is.
Yeah, it's like yo, we about to have fun.
Everybody that calls us when we just had the gumbo dudes, they called us. They even admitted like they was on our head. Like,
yo, Gabe, it's been since
gumbo's on my head too.
Yeah, see, they know, but they know.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, like y'all really, you know what I'm saying? Y'all want to sit with us?
I think part of that too is. We work diligently to give a different perspective when we speak to the guests. Like if I see Gabe is sitting with Gumbo and we're gonna have Gumbo, I have to watch Gabe's interview to make sure we're not recreating the same interview. Some people, that was a thing. Let me just ask the same questions and then maybe I catch a wave. I'm more of all right, Gabe asks about this with this, let me extract that. And that's really what it is. So people are like, hey, I get a great vibe, a great experience sitting down with these individuals. They're going to put me in the proper light to succeed. And that's what it's all about with the platform. Are you going to put me in the proper light and the proper representation to succeed?
Right. And before we wrap up, because I got to bring in the next artist, and I want to make a point too, because I saw something in one of the videos that we did, right? Someone made a comment, and I'm going to address this comment.
Go for it.
They were like, oh, he said that there's a blueprint. Like, because we were talking about Pop Smoke.
Yeah.
And one of the comments like, oh, he said that there's a blueprint, but then a few minutes later said not everyone can follow, not everyone can make it like that. Yes, that is the fucking point of a blueprint, my brother. A blueprint exists because it is there to show you how to get to the top. However, not everyone is built to follow that blueprint, and not everybody. It's like a fucking table. You got a table from IKEA, right? Not everybody can build the same. Don't shop at IKEA.
Yo, SO hates IKEA.
Don't shop at IKEA.
IKEA, give us a deal. You can promote. I'm there in Paramus.
Shop at IKEA.
I'm there in Red Hook.
Think more of yourself than to shop and IKEA. Think more of yourself, okay?
But the point of the matter is that like
Give us that deal.
The point of the matter is like if you're trying to build a table and you have the blueprint in front of you, not everybody can build the table the same way or build it properly enough to reach to the point where it's sturdy enough where it lives for 10 plus years or more, right? So a blueprint can exist, yes, and yes, that same blueprint can be followed and been done successfully, like Pop Smoke. But then also just because Pop Smoke's blueprint is there or the artist's blueprint is there, you could still fuck it up a million different ways along the way to the top.
You need the music. You need the music to do what Pop Smoke was doing. You need the personality. Everywhere he go, he made a lasting impression on everybody.
And you know what else too?
Chicks liked them. Niggas respected him.
Yes.
That's part of the blueprint.
And also, he was in shape. So the clothes laid on him. He had the proper jewels, the different hairstyle, the distinct voice.
Yep.
All of that plays a part in it to the mystique. And with the blueprint, what people don't know, how many hours do you work in a day?
You asking me personally?
Yeah,
I wake up about 9. I leave here around.
Let me give you
10,
a number.
11 o'clock. So
you know how many hours we're working in a day now?
How many?
60 hours a day.
You mean a week?
No, a day. Listen to what I'm saying. Think about what we nigga, we just.
No,
listen to what I'm saying.
Like, you know how math, right?
No, I know the math, but think about what we just did in Atlanta. Before Atlanta and after Atlanta and then after this interview. We're working 60 hours a day. And that's the blueprint. There's times
that means you're working a lot.
No, there's times he's like, you know, we got more stuff to do. I just 2 years ago I would have complained.
Listen,
and that's the blueprint, but not everybody can work 60 hours a day.
We're gonna leave this. We're gonna leave with this comment because I got Ghost here. When I mentioned to him yesterday that we were gonna come back and have to do a freestyle from Atlanta,
yeah, I was tight.
Yo, his face. That's why I didn't book it. I didn't book it. Cause he was like, yo, like, we're gonna land. How am I gonna get over there? And Ghost just looking at me. I said, this motherfucker ain't ready to do this shit. I'm not even gonna call him to even get the 8 bars done. Cause he was looking like.
How about this? I'll throw you a real curveball. We was watching the Philadelphia 76ers game, right? Versus Brooklyn Nets in Atlanta. I'm knocked out, in and out. I'm gonna say some real shit. That sleep wasn't because I was tired in Atlanta or before. That was my rest to be prepared for this day. I swear to you, it was my rest. I'm sleeping 2 days in advance. I sleep in advance. I don't sleep in the past.
Yo, we out. We out. This nigga said, yo, on the radar has been great. He slept 2 days
in advance for on the radar. Sit down.
He wild, yo.
Yeah.
Well, look, I appreciate y'all being here. You know what I'm saying? We gonna do many more of these.
Oh, no, we got to talk about the culture so much more.
Before we get out of here, you know the drill. Let the people know they can follow you at anything else you want to let the fans know. Now's the time to do it. So your camera right here. Heineken's just right there.
I thought you was gonna say do a 16 before we leave.
Yeah, we came here to rap.
You had me all gas. So you like right before we leave. You know how we do it. Go ahead,
BAGFUEL. Bag Fuel Boys, man. Follow us. Heineken, HYNAKEN. Boom. Bag Fuel is the show. BAGFULE. That's also YouTube as well. My man Esso right here.
Just look me up, man. Don't confuse me with the fake rappers that formerly had my name. They're trash.
Don't do that.
Log in. I don't care who he know. They not my friends, okay? Log in, put in ESSO, and you'll see it's the only one up there.
What's your Instagram, though? Come on, that's the money maker.
WRLD. I'm telling him, just log in to Instagram and put ESSO. I'm the only nigga that pop up. There's nobody else. Find me.
Gabe,
follow.
Whether we speak about it or not, talk about later on the TikTok controlling how people go viral.
I will do that. Well, that's the next. That's for the next one. Well, make sure you go follow them. Go run up Bag Fuel. Subscribe to their YouTube page. Go show them some love. Go show them some support. Love is free. Support is free. But y'all already knew that. Till next time, Bag Fuel.
I got 8 more bars.
We out.
I'm rapping on this one.